Commanders fans, so tough news today, and we haven't got any official news on what the injury is just yet. On Noah Brown, Noah Brown was carted off the field today. From what I did hear, I was listening to the radio, and Ben Standig was being interviewed. Ben Standig was there; he was at the practice, and he said Noah Brown caught the football. He didn't say whether it was a contact injury or non-contact, but Noah Brown went down. He stayed down for a couple of seconds. He did get up, and they put him on a cart. And the practice facility. So I know a lot of you guys have probably been there. I've never been to Ashburn before. I've never been to that. I have not been to that. I went to training camp when it was in Richmond, but I've never been to Ashburn, so I don't know. But from what they were saying on the radio, to get to the facility from the field, you have to go up a hill and walk a decent amount. So they took him on a cart, they went up the hill, and they went over a bump. So when they went over the bump, when the cart went over the bump, Noah Brown screamed or yelled in pain. So that didn't help. But, we just don't know right now. I mean, that's all you can really go off until they do an x-ray or anything like that. Now, I think they're just going to cancel practice tomorrow. That's probably what they're going to do. Practice was only going to be 40 minutes anyway tomorrow. But that is tough news. Once again, and some people say, they've seen people have cramps and be carted off the field. And even in basketball, we saw Paul Pierce had a cramp, and they carried him in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair. But it doesn't sound like a cramp to me. That's all I'm going to say. It doesn't sound like a cramp. But we can just pray and hope for the best for Noah Brown. Terry McLaurin obviously is not there. I do think this makes the signing of Terry McLaurin more urgent. Will he get paid more because of an injury? Who knows? Only Terry and his agent and Adam Peters know that. And Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, and Mitch Rells and Dan Quinn. But I think it speeds up the urgency. Like I don't even want to speak it into existence, but I'm just saying I think it kind of speeds up the urgency for Terry to be signed. You cannot go into training camp, in my opinion, with Terry unsigned or an extension I done him being disgruntled. And then Debo's there and Noah Brown. Like I said, I won't speak it into existence again. But I just think it speeds up the urgency to get a deal done with Terry McLaurin. To have him there in practice and have him there for training camp day one. So that's just my thoughts on it. But let's say it's like a minor injury for Noah Brown. We'll see what happens. That could be the case. And, he was having a good offseason so far, coming back from the appendix or spleen injury or whatever it was that he had. He'll always be remembered for the Hail Mary catch that he had last year. He led the league in forced pass interferences. Like, he played, how many games did he play last year? Played in 11 games and still led the league in pass interferences forced. And he ended up with 453 yards. So he was on pace to get at least 600 yards. He was on pace to have his best season of his career. His career high was 567 yards with the Texans in 10 games, but he just hasn't been available the past 2 seasons. So that's just the knock on Noah Brown. Good player, and I think he was finally going to be in the perfect spot where he wasn't going to be a wide receiver number 2. He was going to be an option number 3, which was going to be perfect for him. And I'm speaking, he still could be. So I'm not going to talk too much more until we get actual facts and an X-ray and something from a doctor. So, but it is tough to hear a guy being carted off the field. It doesn't matter which player you are, but a guy who had a really good season, he had a darn good season. Like, Jaden loves Noah Brown, man. He targeted Noah Brown a lot last year, like a lot. He had, how many targets did he have last year? He had 56 targets last year. 56. In 11 games, he had 56 targets. So, he was targeted a good amount. When Terry was bracketed or covered, Jaden was going right to Noah Brown instantly. He had a big catch against the Giants. He had a couple big catches and some big plays in a couple of solid games. So, wishing the best for Noah Brown. Hopefully, we hear some good news tomorrow, or by the end of this week. Hopefully, we hear something good about Noah Brown, because they're going to ask Dan Quinn a lot about it tomorrow. All right. So I'm not going to put up any clips today. Really wasn't much that they clipped that media reporters put up video-wise anyway. I mean, it was a couple of drills and stuff like that, but I'm not going to put that up today. I'll start doing that when training camp happens in late July. I'll do that. I'm not going to do it in every video because it can be a lot to do all that. But Dan Quinn did say some young guys who have stood out this all season were Jordan McGee, Ben Sinnott and Percy Butler. So that's good to hear about Percy Butler. Ben Sinnott, too, who was a guy who is kind of in the hot seat, in my opinion, because if he doesn't show up this year, then they got to draft a tight end. They got to draft a tight end anyway, because who knows if Zach Ertz is going to be here after next year. But it's good to hear that Ben Sinnott's been playing well. He had a touchdown catch yesterday. Percy Butler, too, he's kind of on the hot seat, too. You got Tyler Owens, Kane Madrano, Robert Jackson from Jackson State. Did I say Tyler Owens already? You brought in Will Harris. So there's a possibility where, you got Jeremy Reeves on the roster, too, who just got the extension today. So somebody may be an odd man out. And it could be Percy Butler, but he's played well, according to Dan Quinn. And Jordan McGee, who got to start yesterday because Bobby Wagner was not there. Bobby Wagner was there today. They really want Jordan McGee to play. They want him to be that third linebacker to help slow down the run game. They really want him to play. They loved him coming out of Temple. Like, people were banging on the table to draft him. He's an athletic freak. So let's see what he does this year. He did hype up B-Rob today. He said he's had a good offseason. He said he's really healthy, and he knows that it's a contract year as well. So let's see what I'm just optimistic on B-Rob. I'm gonna just be positive on him. I am skeptical on him, but let's keep that same energy on B-Rob. All right. So play by play. Let's get to that real quick. Like I said, they didn't have much. Michael Gallup too. Michael Gallup out with a hamstring injury. So the receiving core, man, I think it needs a little bit of help. We'll see. I think maybe signing one guy would not hurt. I'll probably make a video about that, about potential candidates, depending on the news that we do get from Noah Brown. I will say I do like Amari Cooper a lot, and I do like Keenan Allen. Those are some guys that I am intrigued by, so I'll just say that right now. I know you guys may disagree with me. I know anytime there's a free agent over the age of 30, you guys are like, no. So I get it, but, hey, some guys to take a look at and just think about. All right, he just said Jeremy Reeves is a BMF, bad mother lover. He said Jeremy Reeves is a true commander, one of our heavy hitters. So he said a lot of good things about Jeremy Reeves. Laramie Tunsil did not participate. He got a veteran rest day. Zach Ertz got a veteran rest day, and Deron Payne got a veteran rest day. So Laramie Tunsil did not participate in any drills yesterday, or 11 on 11. Or he didn't participate in 11 on 11 yesterday. He did not participate in drills today. So he basically coasted through OTAs or minicamp. So, but we know his reputation, so that's why he gets a pass. But I am happy that Lattimore showed up, and it looks like he's playing well, man. He does look fluid. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I was skeptical on that too, just looking at the way his fluidity and movement. But he's getting a full off season to recover and be healthy. So that is great news because he didn't have that last year. All right, Kane Madrano did force a fumble. I talked about Kane Madrano earlier with the battle with Percy Butler for making the team as a safety. Kane Madrano's gonna make the team. He's gonna make the team. That's not a question. But that is good to see he forced a fumble. Like he had a knack for forcing turnovers at UCLA too. But he had 3 picks and 2 forced fumbles last year. So ball is life for Kane Madrano. I like that. He's got the speed too. It was scooped up by the undrafted free agent Carlin Vigors. Noah Brown with a fantastic inside-out move on Marshon Lattimore by the sideline. And he was open, throws on target, but Lattimore recovers and makes an aggressive play on the ball incomplete. So that's what I want to see from Marshon Lattimore. I love that. That's what he was brought here to do. Even if you do get beat, the recovery speed to make a play and bat down the football. That's what we're looking for from Marshon Lattimore. That's what he did with the Saints. So I want to see that happen here. High school coaches were here today, watching practice and learning. I don't think, did they have any special guests today? I guess the high school coaches were the special guests instead of having Jason Garrett and Will Muschamp yesterday. Linnell Willingham said, really nice rush from Jacob Martin. No pads, but a good rush. So Jacob Martin could be the Dante Fowler this year. We'll see. As far as like getting a bunch of sacks and playing above what people projected. Zach Selby said Michael Strachan with a really nice, impressive catch through contact on a pass from Marcus Mariota. Michael Strachan is 6'5", so he provides some receiver depth, but he most likely will be on the practice squad. Noah Brown, he went down on the 7-on-7 drill through his helmet, being helped to the sideline per Nikki Javala. Linnell Willingham says that Jaden Daniels with a great pull on zone read would have been a house call, so it was good to see from Jaden Daniels. We already know what he does when he runs with the football. Was our leading rusher last year. Linnell said Andrew Wiley once again getting first team left tackle reps with Laramie Tunsil out. Linnell also says Josh Connolly with a nice pass set versus Jacob Martin. Good job dropping his butt and anchoring. So good to see that from Josh Connolly at right tackle. Linnell did say it was a physical practice to this point. We know it's not supposed to be super physical. You do get fined for stuff like that. So I do want to hear some more detail on the Noah Brown injury, like how it happened. But That's all the information that we really have at this point. So that was really it, guys. That really came out today. The unfortunate news of Noah Brown, but once again, that's a question mark. We don't know the severity of the injury just yet. So we just gotta wait and see the news on about Noah Brown. So we'll see. Try to see if Luke McCaffrey did anything today before I wrap it up here real quick. But yeah, I don't think Luke had any big catches today. We'll hear about that. I did hear from John Conn that Luke did cook Marshon Lattimore on the play. Like, he left him in the dust and crossed him over and crossed him up. So that's really, really good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. From Luke McCaffrey. So Luke McCaffrey will get my opportunities in the offseason, but they definitely need to get a deal done with Terry. Not concerned at all, but I think the urgency needs to be turned up. I think it needs to be turned up a little bit. So, all right, you guys. As always, that's the minicamp recap for today. Marshon Lattimore looks solid, so that's good to hear. And Zach Selby said that too in his notebook. So Marshon Lattimore, he's the wild card for this team. He is the X factor. Like, if we have him play well, Mikey in the slot, and then Trey Amos on the outside or John Jones on the outside, like, Marshon Lattimore really is I'm not gonna say he's the keys to the car for the secondary, but like, if he can play up to what we traded for him, like, that would be huge for this defense. Like, the defense would really, really be improved if he shows up this year and is fully healthy. So, all right, you guys, as always, hello, Commanders. Commanders Kings tonight about 8:45. You can call me 4K Ed, so my camera has improved, if you guys see. On the live streams. My camera's always fine on the videos, but the live streams, it's a little dicey sometimes. So, all right, guys, hello, Commanders. Hail to the Defenders. Peace.